Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you again.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Really, guys?
What? Jackson's always has his game ready.
Let's go!
It's the all-wheel drive event at Lithia Ford of Boise. From hunting trips to ski trips to trips to Grandma's house. Nobody does AWD like LFB, Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, rowpaint.com, and the Blue and Orange store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State Athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing? Happy Monday, Bronco Nation, and welcome on into a live edition of Bronco Nation Live, presented in 2026 by our new title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. Get out to lithiafordboise.com. View their full inventory of vehicles. Check them out on Fairview Road in Boise. We appreciate Jim Sturk, Jamie Drake and company, and excited for 2026 with our new title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. As you heard Vic Orlando, our sound guy, say they're the only daily local show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. We do it at 9 a.m. Mountain Time each and every weekday here on Bronco Nation News. We appreciate all of you that are watching live. We appreciate those of you watching on tape delay at some point throughout today. All of you are welcome. All of you are appreciated. And this is a free show that you're watching here on YouTube, on Facebook, on X. Thanks to all of our advertisers that you see in the back here. Thanks to all of our paid subscribers at bronconationnews.com. So support the sponsors, folks. Subscribe if you can. Today is our last day, by the way, 50% off. 50% off at bronconationnews.com. If you want portal news on visits, Chris V is all over the portal visits and offers and things like that. Portal season is underway. Perfect time to dive in. Coaching news, we'll get to that as well. Boise State with a new wide receivers coach. That news also broken last night on the VIP message board, bronconationnews.com. So if you're able to subscribe, we'd love to have you. Again, Bronco Nation News is the place to go. 50% off at bronconationnews.com. And if you go to bronconationnews.com right now, we got multiple stories up. Chris V also talked to Cash Herrera, the quarterback commit. That's a great story. We're going to get posted today as well. So check out bronconationnews.com. $5 a month. Last day to take advantage of our 50% off offer at BNN. But excited to be here with you guys. A lot to get to. As I mentioned, a new wide receivers coach. There's going to be a new safeties coach, Tyler Stockton, leaving for Michigan, and all kinds of portal visits and things happening. So we have plenty to discuss with Brad Bedell, former Boise State offensive line coach, former Auburn tight ends coach, was an NFL draft pick, played in the NFL. He's going to join us here in about 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll talk plenty of football as Boise State gets set for a big week. They got some visitors coming this week, a lot going on, and we'll have plenty of football talk that you guys, as you guys get close to that end of the portal window. We still got, 10, 11 days. So I know we're going to be tracking that every single day as we try to see who's staying, who's going, all the various portal news. We got you covered at bronconationnews.com. Plenty of football coverage coming. Again, coaching news, portal news, a little bit later in the show with Brad Bedell. I mentioned this is Lithia Ford of Boise version of Bronco Nation News Live, and we are in the Cutwater Studios. There you go. My first flub in a while. I haven't had that happen in 2 years. We appreciate Cutwater, and they've been our studio sponsor they were our studio sponsor for over 2 years, and I will put $5 in the pot there. Love Cutwater, appreciate them, but they are no longer our studio sponsor. Now we've got Sun Cruiser, and we love Sun Cruiser, appreciate Sun Cruiser, and that's what happens when you're on live podcasts here. But appreciate Sun Cruiser, excited for 2026 with Sun Cruiser. Lemonade, iced tea, vodka is so delicious, and we appreciate them. We're going to have some giveaways coming up in 2026 with Sun Cruiser, so we appreciate Sun Cruiser. We're in the Sun Cruiser studios, as always, and make sure you hit up your local gas station, grocery store, get some Sun Cruisers, and whether you want the iced tea lemonade version, the classic iced tea version, or if you don't like tea as much, you can get the straight lemonade vodka versions as well. They have that variety pack, the strawberry pink lemonade. Highly, highly recommend Sun Cruisers, and it's only 4.5% alcohol, and it's not carbonated, so no bubbles, low cal, low carb, and in terms of healthy, alcoholic beverages, it's one of the better ones out there for you. So check out a Sun Cruiser today. Bill starting us off from Minnesota. Appreciate you, Bill, for watching. Deborah's saying good morning as well. How about Scott Ford checking in from Pensacola Beach, Florida? Appreciate Scott from watching there. Tyree, always appreciate you for checking in as well. Oscar watching from Las Vegas. I'll be there on Sunday. We'll be back on Sunday. Looking forward to getting back to Circa Resort and Casino on Sunday. Boise State playing on Tuesday night next week at UNLV at the Thomas and Mack Center. So we're going to come down on Sunday and watch some playoff football there at Circa with the crew, and then be live Monday morning and Tuesday morning, getting you set with coverage from Las Vegas ahead of that game on Tuesday, Boise State and UNLV. So looking forward to getting down there certainly next week to Circa, and we'll be there in less than a week, I guess, on Sunday. Double O'Neill saying good morning, Happy New Year's. Tyree says the new mic stand looking sharp. Yeah, appreciate that. We mentioned 2026, we're going to be making some upgrades here in the Sun Cruiser studio, and one of those is new camera, if you can tell. And so if I'm looking down a little bit, the camera is actually above my laptop, so I'm going to do my best to keep the eyes on the camera and not always looking down the whole show at the new laptop. But the lighting's not different. The lighting is exactly the same. I'm just using a different camera. Somebody said they believe I purchased new lighting. It's actually the same lighting, but I do have a new camera that is behind the laptop and not actually the laptop camera. So it's a new camera and a new mic. And everyone just thinks if you subscribe, that money just goes into my pocket. That's not necessarily the case. We've got 13 people on the payroll. We're trying to upgrade the equipment here. We're trying to add more shows. So this is one of the investments we did make, this new microphone here. So hopefully we also upgraded the Wi-Fi in my house, which we've now got the fiber internet, which is and we have the 2T or whatever it is, 2G, whatever the fastest possible internet you can get. We've upgraded to the last month or so here in the Reigns compound in the Sun Cruiser studios. So we're Ethernet connected to the highest possible Wi-Fi or internet connection you can have. New microphone, new camera, and excited for 2026 here at Bronco Nation News. Hello from foggy Melbourne, Florida. Appreciate D-Ray for jumping in from Florida. Always good. I saw you at the airport a while back. Always good hearing from you. Appreciate it. Cottage cheese with a joke there. Not for free. Shouldn't everything be free? Yeah. Somebody on Twitter last night was complaining that we broke the news of the new wide receivers coach behind the paywall on the message board. So gentleman on Twitter thought that everything should be free and that you shouldn't have to pay to get news or get inside information. He said that the subscriptions are for analysis and insights, but the news itself should be free to everybody if you can get it elsewhere. And I said, well, go get it elsewhere then, because to this point, nobody else has still broke the news of the new wide receivers coach. We will discuss it on the show here with Brad Bedell in a little bit. So we'll give you the name here in the next 10, 15 minutes, but it is up available. Chris Van Sickle, great job breaking that story last night in the VIP message boards on BNN. So if you're a paid subscriber, you can go on right and find out who the wide receivers coach is, but I'm sure most of you already did last night. So that's one of the many benefits to wanting to become a paid subscriber to BNN. You get the insights, the analysis, but you also get the news. We broke the news of the wide receivers coach Matt Miller leaving. We broke that news. We were breaking who the replacement wide receivers coach is. So yeah, we'll give you your analysis, your insight, your opinions, and your columns for Mike Prater and stuff. We're the only outlet that travels on the home road basketball games. Like, yeah, we'll give you all that kind of stuff as well. But you do get actual breaking news from our insiders, and you get actual news, from us. And Pete Thamel had the Tyler Stockton news, the national guys swoop in some, but I think we do a pretty good job at BNN being on top of the local news and breaking as much news as we can. Certainly with, against the competition here in town, I think we're near the top, if not the top of the list of that category. So appreciate those of you that have subscribed. And again, 50% off. We'd love to have you jump in. $5 a month. Today is the last day at BroncoNationNews.com. You can get that 50% off. Nice mic. Yeah, thank you. Not cheap, but and this is as true as possible. All the money goes to ball game. Yes, Johnny. If Johnny doesn't return next year, it'll be because he asked for too much of a raise. No, I kid. Johnny is great. We love him. We appreciate him. Everybody does have their own unique deal and contract, and so not going to get into specifics of all that, but excited for all of our hosts at Bronco Nation News and what we have going on there. We use a program called StreamYard. It's kind of the one that everybody uses. We have the highest version of that. We pay for it, and the highest thing you're allowed to pay for the business plan or whatever. So that allows us to do some different things that you can't do kind of on the free basic plan. But we do use a program called StreamYard that a lot of people use. It's very simple and easy to broadcast out to platforms, but it allows you to do a lot of different things from that point. The audio between BJ and the other guests has been more balanced. Please keep that going and let me know about that, because first of all, I don't know if I get closer to the mic or back away or where I need to be for the right volume. And then also, I don't have any I could put on headphones, honestly. But I don't have no way of monitoring my volume. I can hear myself, but I don't know how that is based on to what you're hearing the guests. So please keep me updated on that. If I am too loud or they're not loud enough, me and Johnny and Prater use, actual mics Jay and Brad Bedell and some of those guys just use their computer microphones, so that may mean they're a little bit lower. So it's hard for me to monitor that, so keep me on top of that, and I will try to make that as even as possible. I assume I'll probably have to go down a little bit when Brad comes on, but we will we'll try to monitor that. Are you considering taking the daily show behind the paywall? No, that will not happen. I would like to add more daily shows, and maybe another daily show could go behind a paywall or something, but this, as much as I would love everything to be behind the paywall and force every single person of you to subscribe, the business model does not work on this podcast unless it's free, because you see all these sponsors behind us. They pay to get as many views as possible and as many people seeing their shows as possible. And if we were to make the daily show behind the paywall, the overall views would definitely go down, and then that would make it not as appealing to advertisers to want to subscribe. The website and the subscriptions, that pays for all that, and pays, for the guys that write for the website and stuff. But all the sponsors you see on the window behind me and that I tell you about throughout the show, that's what helps pay for our podcast to happen. That pays for the hosts, Johnny, Prater, Tust, Bedell, all the other hosts that we have on the show. The podcast is 100% funded. This daily show is 100% funded by the sponsors behind me, and that's what pays all these guys to do the shows. So if you want to see the show continue to be free, then yes, you should support the sponsors. And like I said, take a picture of yourself in the month of January supporting one of our sponsors, tag us on social media and post it, and we'll do a big drawing at the end of the month for a prize pack. But no, there will always be a free element to our shows, because that is the business model that has to happen for us moving forward here. So the basketball game last a couple nights ago in San Diego, unbelievable finish. We're going to talk football with Brad Bedell in a couple minutes, but got to hit on that basketball game again. Had some lingering thoughts here. And how about that free throw? 18 seconds to go. The free throw is missed. Boise State down 2 at this point in regulation. How about A.G. Nato, the freshman, driving, finding Drew Fielder. He scores, and the game is tied. 10 seconds to go. Boise State coming from 24 back to tie the game. Got to play defense here. The shot is missed. Well, there's still 5 seconds to go. Dylan Andrews, the pull-up from the free throw line for the win. Oh, he just missed it. Unbelievable. Another look at that crazy finish. The shot is missed. Oh, just rims off. I mean, that ball was halfway down. And you look at the shot one more time. I'll try to freeze it if I can. But, I mean, the ball is halfway down. Oh, it just wouldn't stay. Would have been one of the most unbelievable walk-off wins in college basketball history, to be honest, because you go from 24 down, you're down 21 at halftime, and to have that come back and tie the game and get the shot, and if you could have just won it right there, it would have been an all-timer, folks, and so close to just an all-time college basketball moment. Unfortunately, the game didn't go their way. You had the multiple issues in overtime, the pass from R.J. Keene, which I wasn't filming at that point because you're up 6 at that point. Just being completely honest, or I guess you're up 3 after the shot made, but you're expecting them to foul. But you were up 6. I mean, think about some of the bounces, by the way, guys. It just didn't go their way. You had on that play, you had Dominic Parolin when they're up 6 at the end of first overtime with a huge block, but he blocks it right to the guy who hits a 3 with 10 seconds left. Then obviously you have the tip pass on the pass from Keene. They hit another 3. Leon Rice did say they were trying to foul. They were unable to do that. Could you make the argument they should have been a little more clear in the huddle that if something happens and we turn it over, we're going to foul? Yes, you could certainly make that argument. I don't know what was said in the huddle. I wasn't in the huddle, but Leon Rice did say that they were trying to foul or wanted them to foul, and obviously those guys didn't get the memo there. They hit the next shot to force double overtime. There was one point, I think, in double overtime maybe where 2 guys like run into each other and just fall down. And then, of course, the ball rolls right to a guy on San Diego State, and he hits a huge 3 at that point that makes a 5-point game down to 2. And then certainly the play where Nato fouls out, there were bad calls on both sides, so I am just going to say that. Like, there were really, really bad calls on both sides last night. But David Walker, the official that had the issue with Leon Rice that forced the technical. Now, the other referee gave him the T, but he was having his issues with David Walker. That was also the official later in the game in overtime, I believe. Boise State's up 6. I think it's 87-81 or something. They're up 6 with like a minute and a half to go, and he calls the 5th foul on NATO from the other side of the court. He's under the basket and somehow sees, but the guy trips and falls. You had 2 refs with a great view at it. They don't call it. David Walker does. And again, he had issues all game with Leon Rice, but he makes that call, fouls out AG NATO. Just a massive call for so many reasons, because NATO was playing great. And also the fact that allowed San Diego State to get free points with the clock stop there in a 6-point game. David Walker, I went and looked at KenPom, guys. He's only officiated 11 Division I games all season before this game. Now he's at 12. And you look at his games, guys, we're talking, South Dakota State, Dakota State. We're talking Green Bay, school named Ripon I've never heard of. Buffalo against RIT, Kent State, Cleveland State, Robert Morris, Illinois, Chicago. 10 of his 11 games were considered low major games, and 4 of the 11 games he officiated this year before this were involving non-Division I teams. So a very young, inexperienced official. He may go on to be a great official. He may have just had a bad night. Maybe he is a great official, but that atmosphere at Viejas Arena, that crowd, that intensity on both sides, that high level of a game, it was not fair for him to be put in that spot. He was not ready. The crew as a whole was not ready for that moment. There were bad calls on both sides. Sitting courtside, you could see a lot of missed calls on both sides. But the assigner, whoever assigned David Walker to that game, it's not really on David Walker. I mean, he was just put in a really, really tough spot. He's a younger official that probably wasn't ready for a game of that magnitude. And I thought he had a really rough game, and it ended up costing Boise State big time there at the end of the game. Rob Kuhneman also, I thought, didn't have a great game. He has done 23 games this year, and he's a little bit higher level official. He did get some Mountain West games earlier this year, and he also did at least one Big Ten game I saw. He's done an Iowa game, a Minnesota game, Oregon game. He's done some a little bit higher level games. He got a Cal UCLA game, but he's only done 23 games as well. I mean, the top officials have done over 40 games right now for the most part. So he's when you're not getting that many games, you're not the first choice to get those games. So, I thought the moment was too big for the officiating crew. I didn't think they were ready for the game. And again, part of that's not on the officials. It's on the assigner that gave one of the bigger games in college basketball on Saturday to inexperienced, and in particular in one case, inexperienced, not ready officials. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. The refs were bad on both sides, but there were there were some bad calls on both sides, but there were a couple of key calls that went against Boise State in that game. And now the Broncos coming back home this week. I will say this. I mean, that would have been a massive win, and they don't get it, and it's ends up being a disappointing loss. But to battle back from 24 down to force triple overtime, it was an amazing game. Tough that somebody had to lose it. And Boise State does fall. But quickly, before Brad Bedell joins us, I'm just going to say this. You look at this upcoming stretch here for Boise State, the next 8 or 9 games, this is a real opportunity for Boise State to get some momentum and get rolling here. They've got 3 of the next 4 games at home. Grand Canyon on Wednesday, massive game on Saturday against Utah State, who's 12-1. You go to UNLV, you go to Wyoming, you go to San Jose. Those are 3 of your next road games. You've got Colorado State at home, Air Force at home, Nevada at home. Like, you look at this stretch, from now until basically Super Bowl Sunday, the night before the Super Bowl, you go to New Mexico, which is certainly going to be a tough game. But you look at this next stretch of games, Grand Canyon at home, Utah State at home, at UNLV, Colorado State at home, Wyoming on the road, Air Force at home, San Jose State on the road, Grand Canyon on the road, and Nevada at home. Can you go 8-1 in that stretch? I mean, even 7-2 is not awful, but if you find a way to go 8-1 in that stretch, I mean, and that would include either beating Utah State at home or winning at Grand Canyon. But the rest of those games, I think, are and even those are winnable games. I mean, they could go. I don't look at any of those 9 games and go, they can't win that game. That's really going to be tough. Like, at home, you have a chance against Utah State. KenPom actually projects Boise State to win by 1 against Utah State. So that's certainly a winnable game. So you look at this next stretch here, Boise State, everyone's, they're 1-2 in conference, 1-2 in conference. There's a very good chance you're going to look up on the day before the Super Bowl when they go play New Mexico, and that 1-2 conference record is like 8-3 or 9-2 or whatever it would be. They're 1-2 now. There's 9 games. So I guess 9-3. Can they be 9-3 in conference? I mean, there's a real chance. A lot of those should be wins. I mean, no, going to Wyoming is going to be extremely tough. I understand that. But you have Air Force, you have San Jose. And like I said, you're at UNLV, which is a winnable game. And then these home games, you have a chance to really pick up some ground here as well. So 2-0 this week would be big. But I just say, look at the bigger picture here. If you can find a way in this next 9-game stretch to go 8-1, no worse than 7-2. If you can go 7-2 or better, I think you're going to be in a decent spot here still moving forward. So I think it was a tough game, but in the end, you can't fall behind by 24 and expect to make that kind of comeback. But would have been an historic win. It wasn't to be, but the Broncos still, I think, have some reason for optimism. We'll see. We'll discuss, closer to Wednesday's game. But NATO needs to play more. I think there needs to be some small tinkering with the minutes and things here. But NATO certainly deserves to play more. And just a tough way, man. Dylan Andrews is really struggling shooting the ball right now. And if they found a way for that, you won't get a better look. There was only 1.5 seconds left. Somebody asked me, should he have tried to get to the rack? I don't think there was enough time. You got a wide open 15-foot jumper from the free throw line from a guy who's like an 80+% free throw shooter. And he basically had a free throw to win the game. 15-foot wide open jumper, and it didn't fall. And Boise State falls, like I said, in excruciating fashion in triple overtime. But shout out Andrew Meadow, 51 minutes played in that game. Andrews played 47. So we'll get into some more changes to what we want to see from the basketball team moving forward in terms of some of the minutes and some of that kind of stuff. But I think that NATO and I think Nathan Carroll wrote about it online for subscribers at BNN. But the best 5 might appear to be NATO basically in Keen's spot. If you get NATO and Andrews out there together, that's really good for their defense, allows them to do some different things offensively as well. And then Fielder and Meadow and Buchanan. I mean, that's a pretty good 5 right there, I think, in terms of that's who played a lot in crunch time till NATO fouled out. So Boise State drops to 1-2 in the conference. Not ideal, but like I said, take a look at the schedule. A lot of winnable games ahead and a chance to really still put a nice run together here. And this is going to be a big week. Wednesday at Grand Canyon at home. Again, disappointing, tough deal. 9 p.m. start time again on Wednesday on a school night, on a work night. That TV rules. I get it. That sucks. But Saturday, 7 o'clock on a Saturday against Utah State. I mean, that needs to be a sellout, and that place should be rocking for Utah State coming in on Saturday. Just a massive game there. If you can go 2-0 this week, there's still hope to try to get this thing rolling in the right direction. All right, plenty of football we want to discuss as well. Brad Bedell is ready to join us here momentarily. But first, I want to thank our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. Again, they got some 2026 models coming that need room on their lot. So some great deals on 2025s right now, whether it's the F-150, the Escape, the Explorer, 0% APR for 60 months plus 0 down. So some great deals and things at Lithia Ford of Boise. Nobody supports Boise State athletics bigger than Jim Sturk and Lithia Ford of Boise and the Ford brand. So return the favor, folks, for your next vehicle at Lithia Ford of Boise. Our studio sponsor, Sun Cruiser, real iced tea, a real vodka. Again, no carbonation. It's low carb, low calorie, 4.5% alcohol. And they've got the iced tea vodkas, the lemonade iced teas, the peach iced tea, the raspberry iced tea, or just, if you're not big on the tea, the straight lemonade vodkas, whether it's strawberry lemonade, pink lemonade. Highly recommend Sun Cruisers. Go check out a Sun Cruiser today. Hey, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile eBranch online banking right there on your smartphone. They're back on board as an official sponsor with Learfield and Boise State. They've got some NIL deals as well, as you can see with Natalie Pasco and Peanut Carmichael. So Idaho Central Credit Union, make the switch today, ICCU.com. I think our friend Kent Riddle's probably on his 3rd Jackson's beverage already. The 75 cents today, 75 cents, any size fountain drink with your Let's Go Rewards app today, since the Broncos scored 75 points on Saturday. So 2 days after the game, if the Broncos get 75 points, home or road, you get a 75-cent any size fountain drink at Jackson. So that is today. Get out to Jackson's today. 75 cents any size fountain drink with your Let's Go Rewards app. Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. They got the 83-point deal for the home games. At a home game, the Broncos get 83 points. You get a free taco if you've got your ticket stub. You take it the next day to a local Taco Bell location in the Treasure Valley. You get a free taco if the Broncos score 83 points and you have a ticket stub from that home game. TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate them. And whether it's the crispy chicken strips, the breakfast quesadillas, so many delicious options. Make it a Taco Bell day at your Treasure Valley Taco Bell location. Hey, if you need some gear for that Grand Canyon game on Wednesday, maybe you're going to the Utah State game Saturday, Boise State basketball gear is in. You can now get customized jerseys. Drew Fielder, Javen Buchanan, A.G. Nato, you want a customized jersey, you can get that at the Allen Noble Hall of Fame location of the Blue and Orange Store. The Blue and Orange Store online at theblueandorangestore.com. You can order anywhere in the world. They have the OG location out there at the Boise Town Square Mall. But, of course, they've got the new location at the Allen Noble Hall of Fame. Get ready for game day with our friends at the Blue and Orange Store. All right, our man Brad Bedell, kind enough to join us here. We switch from basketball to talk a little football. We got portal news, coaching news, all kinds of stuff. Brad, appreciate you jumping on. How we doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
We're doing great. Appreciate you jumping on. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late everting to you as always. Whatever time I tell you, I would just add 5 minutes from now on because, as you know, I enjoy talking, I guess you can say. So we were supporting the sponsors there. You had to wait to support the sponsors so you can get that hefty paycheck that we send you every month. So we appreciate you jumping on. We got some coaching news. We got some portal news. I guess we can start with the coaching news, but now the portal is wide open and there's visits happening here in the next few days. This weekend coming up is going to be a massive portal visit weekend. I know you got in. I mean, how many years was the portal going while you were still at Auburn? And I guess in terms of the way it is now with the NIL and the immediate eligibility on the transfers and just the current setup, was that your last year at Auburn? I guess how crazy was it compared to what it is now?
I don't think it's as crazy now, just because of everything that's going on. Because coaches always find a way to get around things, but it was pretty crazy. I mean, the money was flying around, nothing like it is right now. When the portal was just beginning, you used to be able to talk to the kids, like talk to the players. I mean, I've heard it kind of started last year with some quarterbacks and people that I've talked to is you don't even get to talk to the player until you got to talk to the agent first. Say, okay, well, is the deal going to get done? Then you can talk to the player. So, and there's some situations, and I know there's a couple of this year that I was talking to somebody that was not at another university. He couldn't talk to 6 players because the agent didn't give him the okay to talk to the player because they didn't have the NIL deal in place before they talked to the player. I'm like, I'm recruiting the player, not you. He wasn't allowed to talk to mom, dad, or anybody. So I think that never happened, in Auburn. But the fictitious money, I mean, you're starting to see things come out a little bit on X, if it's true or untrue, but some of these kids that jumped in that thought they were going to get X amount of dollars aren't getting it. They're just getting lied to by some street scumbag, to be quite honest with you. I mean, that's who they are. Some of these guys are just scumbags. And I hope that can, I think it'll be a healthier spot once we start seeing an NFL model of, if you want to become a NIL agent or how they want to do it, they have to go through some screenings like National Football League. You have to get certified. And so that comes with collective bargaining. I think we're years away from that, to be quite honest with you. But this is getting out of hand. And there are some nightmare stories. I mean, you're looking at $5 million. That's the rumor for the Texas Tech kid, the Cincinnati quarterback that came out. That's $5 million. So does that mean he set the market? Does that mean Raiola is going to get $4.2 million? You're muted. You're muted.
All right, $5 to the pot. I did it. I'm muted. Brad, that's roughly, not exactly, but at least in the ballpark, what that quarterback's getting to Boise State's entire budget.
Right. No,
not the same, but it's close. They may be closer to 6 this year. We'll see where they ended up, but they're not swimming in that kind of pond where they can put that much money into one player. That's essentially their entire roster to this point. By the way, I turned my volume down a little bit. Somebody said Brad needed to be turned up. I have a different mic than Brad. He's using his computer mic, so I turned myself down. hopefully now we're a little more even, but if I need to go down a little more, I can. But again, we don't have the ability to turn Brad up, but I can turn myself down. So turn your whole volume up, I guess, and I'll turn myself down a little, and we'll see if that works. But so I saw something, Brad, I forget which coach said it, but he goes, you're talking about having to talk to the agent first before the player. And he said, unless the agent's the one I'm talking to when a pass is dropped, when a route is run wrong, when a block is missed, when guy misses a answer in a film session, like once these players get on campus, like you're in the foxhole with the players here. And those are the guys that are like doing the actual playing of the game and the guys that are doing the workouts and all this. Like those are the ones I want to be talking to know if he's the right fit for me and if I want this guy. And so he said, unless the agent's the one coming to the 6 a.m. workout and the one I'm talking to after, in the next film session, like I want to talk to, I'm making my decision. I want to talk to the player. But in some cases that's probably how it should be, but that's not always how it can go.
There's no doubt. Could you imagine? So the individual I was talking about, this kid was a quarterback. Could you imagine being a offensive coordinator or head coach and you're in the portal quarterback business and you can't talk to the player to even see, okay, are you a fit? I mean, I actually haven't had a conversation with you. I got to see if you got a case of the dum-dums and if you could play quarterback for me. Not all offense they're not all created equal. And you need to talk to the young men to see if they can, get through, talk some football with them and see if they can retain information, especially if you're getting a quarterback that is going to get the keys to the car for the next season. But now I got to deal with your agent or whoever you're claiming your agent is. Save it. I just move on. You know what I mean? And, I think where the portal's sitting right now.
There's enough players out there, right? There's enough players out there where you maybe, unless you really, really want this kid, like you don't need to, if the agent's being a, D about it or whatever, or he's not letting you get to the player or you can't get the communication you want, like, sorry, we'll find somebody else.
Right. But I also think the smart agents, right? The agents that do things the right way, to be honest with you, understand, like, my player actually has to talk to the coaching staff, right? I mean, there's some agents that do things the right way. There's some agents that aren't agents that are just looking to get the paycheck off the kid's back. And I think the good agents are like, hey, you got a phone call with X, Y, and Z universities. Okay, they're going to talk to you for 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. Then they're going to make a decision to bring you in. Or they're going to talk to you and what's going to entail in the visit when we sit down. And because the portal kids that are doing all the jersey photographs and all that, come on. You got 2 years of eligibility. You're trying to get there and get to the league, period. That's what you're using the next university to get to the National Football League. The next university is using you to get 10 wins, go to the playoff. Texas Tech they did that last year, right? Just to get beat, right? Well, there's their model. Now they just, if that number is right for that quarterback, right? It's just some of these kids are seeing the money that isn't, there's over, I don't know what it is now. I'm sure people know it out there. Last thing I heard, there was 3,700 kids in the portal. There's 3,700 kids. I mean,
120 plus quarterbacks or something, I think I saw.
Yeah. Now, I was talking to an FCS coach, and some kids in the FCS, so I'm going to get in the portal, and they never play again, and they don't intend to play again. It's their way of quitting, right? Rather than having the conversation going and saying, you know what, this isn't for me. I thought I wanted to play college football. It's not for me. And I just am going to step away, and I'm just going to go to school here. Everything's okay. So that's just another thing we're using this portal to get kids out of a scapegoat, and rather than having a hard conversation and teaching how to go in and look somebody in the eye and say, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm going to move on. Perfect. That's fine. 120 quarterbacks. That means almost every Division 1A school can get a new quarterback in the portal. And some of those quarterbacks just stink. No offense to them.
Yeah.
It's not very good.
Yeah. Brad, one position we've talked about at Boise State needing to look at in the portal, wide receiver. A couple notes on wide receiver. First of all, Chris Van Sickle, our recruiting guru at BNN, confirmed this. We talked about Cam Jones. He was a freshman receiver that was really highly rated, had some big-time offers last year, redshirted this year. I don't know if he saw the field at all. If not, he definitely didn't play in the 4 games. He had announced, or I guess somebody had announced another recruiting site. I'll just throw him out there. On3 announced that he was expected to enter the transfer portal or was entering the transfer portal. They've removed everybody on Boise State's online roster that is entering the portal or is gone. They've updated the roster for 2026 to this point, and he is still on the roster. And we confirm with Boise State that he has not officially entered the portal yet and is still on the roster. So I don't know if Cam Jones just hasn't filled out the paperwork yet, if he is leaving, if he's not leaving, if that was a ploy to get Boise State before the portal opened to give him a little more money. I have no idea. But Cam Jones, a lot of people were disappointed to see the report that he was entering the transfer portal because he did have some high expectations coming in and there was some high hope for him, even though he didn't show it last year. Just wanted to throw out there that Cam Jones not officially in the portal yet. We moved him from our transfer portal tracker for now. Could still enter the portal at some point, but Cam Jones is not in the portal, and he is still on Boise State's roster. And also, Brad, we did get some intel, a wide receiver from Kennesaw State, Christian Moss. He is going to visit West Virginia, and he's going to visit Boise State. Christian Moss, a Kennesaw State receiver, 45 catches, 689 yards. I think we've talked about this, Brad. I think you're a production guy, right? You don't care if it's lower level. You'd rather have a guy that comes in with 45 catches and 400 and something yards, maybe at a Kennesaw State, versus a guy that transfers in as the seventh string receiver from Oregon that had one catch last year.
Yeah, you can't. When you go into the portal, you want them now. I want production, like junior college players. Are you going to ever sign a junior college player that's never stepped on the field? No, because they're not good enough to be at the JUCO, right? So you go to the Kennesaw State young man, played, had some productive numbers, been in the limelight, things like that. And I'd rather see that than getting some young man that hasn't touched the field at an Oregon or a Washington or wherever. And now you're just getting where he doesn't think he's good enough to play there. So I'm going to drop down to Boise State, who's in the same sentence as the top 25 football program, and think that I'm okay to go there. That's not the way it works. I'd rather go get production. That means he's probably had to be a leader at some point with the numbers. So he's been in a leadership role. So he's had pressure put on him. He's been coached hard, things like that, rather than the young man that's just taken off because he hasn't played as much. So what happens if he doesn't play as much as his next stop? What's he going to do? He's going to get in the portal again.
Yep. Darren Morris also visited yesterday per Chris Van Sickle on our recruiting board. Again, VIP subscribers, you get daily tidbits and info from Chris on visits and things, and I'm not giving it all away today. You need to subscribe. Again, today is our last day, 50% off. You can get a VIP yearly subscription for just $5 a month to BroncoNationNews.com. That deal ends tonight, so do that today, and you get daily tidbits and things like this. But another nugget that Chris had in there yesterday, Darren Morris, a wide receiver from Southern University. Where is Southern University? I'm not even sure if I know where that is or what level that is or division that is.
It's HBCU, Division I.
Okay, Southern. That's right. Darren Morris visited Boise State yesterday. 77 catches, 1,268 yards, 9 touchdowns, and that's in his career, not last season. But a guy.
How big is he?
What's that?
How big is he?
Let's see. I'll look him up. But he has 77 catches, 1,268 yards, 9 touchdowns in his career. Darren Morris, a wide receiver from Southern. Maybe somebody in the chat can Google faster than me. But I was going to bring this up while I'm asking you this. It now sounds like we have a new wide receivers coach. That is another story that we broke at BroncoNationNews.com. Chris is doing a great job with all of that stuff. But Alvis, how do you say his last name? Is it Whitted? Whited? I wish I knew, but Paulie Pepperoni actually has the name up here. Alvis, and I apologize that I'm butchering his last name. How would you say that is?
Whitted.
Whitted. All right. Alvis Whitted has NFL coaching experience. Well, 1 year with the Green Bay Packers, was at Colorado State for a while. Has also been at Utah. Most recently has been at NC State, where it's his alma mater, but he was only an analyst there. Wasn't a full-time coach. And I don't know the connection yet, if there is one, with Spencer Danielson, but you get a guy that, again, has NC State now experience, Utah, a couple years before that, has NFL experience. Like, I know you may hate him because he coached at CSU for 6 years, Brad, but overall, looks like a guy with some experience, has coached some pretty talented guys. He recruited and coached some guys at CSU that went to the NFL, and Rashard Higgins and some guys like one that I'm forgetting, Gallup. I believe, Michael Gallup. So at least on paper, I know some fans were saying, let's get some outside fresh blood outside the program. I mean, this on paper would fit a lot of what some experience, college, NFL, some power programs, no ties to Boise State, but has coached some NFL guys. But I was going to ask you how hard it is to try to get portal wide receivers without a wide receivers coach. So that was probably a big thing they needed to get done. It has not been announced yet, but Chris Van Sickle reporting it's going to be Alvis Whitted. And now that if they can get him officially on board, that'll hopefully help some movement here with the wide receivers in the portal.
Yeah, I don't. The thing is, in the coaching world is, say it is him, right? I would assume it's him, right? You guys probably do your due diligence and don't throw names out of a hat.
We 100%, not probably, we 100% don't throw something out there if we're not pretty confident.
In the coaching world, that was done a week ago. You guys, I mean, whatever you guys hear is done. You guys are a week late, right? So once that's done, doesn't even have to sign the deal. Doesn't have to sign a contract or something. Okay, you need to call X, Y, Z, and everybody in between, because we're going to bring in these kids on a visit. They got to get to know you. You got to get on the phone with them. You got to FaceTime with them. You got to talk to mom. You got to talk to dad. You got to talk to uncle. Whoever's going to be the who's going to help him pull the trigger, you got to talk to him. And so he's been working on that, and that's probably helps why two things. Number one, he could have got those young men on a visit. Okay, that's one. Number two, it could also mean as he's talking to the players currently on the roster, why you're not seeing papers put in for the portal. I think a lot of young men just say, okay, the wide receivers coach is leaving, I'm out of here. Now, sometimes you just got to pump the brakes, especially young kids, freshmen. Go, hey, now wait a minute here. Slow down. Just trust me. I'm the head football coach here. Just trust me. Let me hire a guy. Let him talk. Let you guys talk. And then you can make what's decisions best for you, right? That's the way it works. And so I think, the one thing is when I heard about that and read the article and all that is he's a guy that's ran a room. That's the nice thing about it. He's ran a room. He's not green. He's going to have to fit in the Boise way, right? In installing and how they do that and all that. But he also brings some different ideas to install plays, different ideas to, talk to kids. But it's going to work in the framework of Boise State football. And so that's where, it has to meet a little bit both ways. The position coach has to adapt more to the Boise State way rather than the Boise State's go adapt to his way. But I think experience and everything like that is what I thought really what Boise needed. They needed a green wide receivers coach. But I think that's helping and why he's bringing in young kids in the portal. Kids in the portal don't come to schools when you got one chance that don't have a wide receivers coach. You just don't. I mean, you got to know who's coaching you. So I'm sure he's been working the phones and all that stuff.
BSU Bill saying his recruiting chops already showing. We've been in a lot of wide receivers recently. And like I said, we'll wait and see. He wasn't one of the names, Brad, that we had on any kind of list because this kind of comes out of, right field, so to speak, from NC State. No ties to Boise State. But I do think there's some positives to that, a little bit of fresh blood. The other part with that, though, Brad, is when you have no ties to Boise State, a la our next topic here, Tyler Stockton, the safeties coach, you maybe don't expect him to stick around a long time either, I guess you could say, sometimes, where it's like Tyler Stockton had no kind of West Coast ties, played at Notre Dame, coached East Coast pretty much, Eastern time zone pretty much most of his life and career, needed a job. I guess he didn't need a job. He was at Ball State, was doing good there, but comes out here for a couple years. Now Tyler Stockton, we get the report from Pete Thamel yesterday, heading to Michigan. So Boise State, he's going to team up with Kyle Whittingham there at Michigan, and now Boise State in need of a safeties coach. Ty Benefield in the portal. You wonder if we see him taking a visit to Michigan at some point. He took a visit, Brad. I don't know if you saw it at LSU. Lane Kiffin bringing in Ty Benefield for a visit. That tells you all you need to know about Ty Benefield and where he's going to probably end up and the amount of money that he's probably going to get when you hear that the first visit Ty Benefield took was to LSU in terms of, how much money he's, would have been giving up probably to come back to Boise State for another year when you're just kind of putting the the two recruiting budgets together. But I do want to get your thoughts on Tyler Stockton, the safety position, before we get out of here. We'll do that in just a second. But I want to thank Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. We bought and sold our home with Matt and his team last summer. Tremendous customer service every step of the way. We appreciate Matt Bauscher online at Bauscher Real Estate. Hey, we want to hear from you. Leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/BNN. Your thoughts on the basketball team, the transfer portal, whatever you got. It's brought to you by Signature Roofing, online at mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, or an inspection, we're loving our roof from Signature Roofing, and you will as well. Signature Roofing, online at mysignatureroofing.com. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. 13 locations in the state of Idaho, many more in the surrounding states. I love that Kuna location, the Middleton location as well. Shopridleys.com. If you're heading up to McCall, get some for the Winter Carnival, all the different things going on in McCall. That love the location up there in McCall. But download their Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line at shopridleys.com. Hey, rowpaint.com, 20% off those winter painting projects at rowpaint.com. Andy Rowe and Company, been a believer in Bronco Nation news since day one. So if you got that painting project, folks, now's the time. Now is the time to get it done. Let the professionals do it for you. Interior, exterior painting, those concrete coatings, some great specials right now. Again, hit them up at rowpaint.com. Transportation compliance service, transcompservice.com can help you get into the trucking industry every step of the way at transcompservice.com. Whether it's a local company helping out folks all over the world and all the paperwork and things, let the professionals handle it. If you're looking for a new career, fresh start, how about the trucking industry with transportation compliance service? And Element Fencing, whether it's a decks, pergolas, fences, they got you covered. It's a locally owned, family-run fencing company, more than 25 years, elementfencing.com. Brady, the owner there, does a tremendous job. You see a couple fences. It's the tremendous craftsmanship quality. And as I said, they can do decks and pergolas as well. Element Fencing online. Check them out at elementfencing.com. All right, Brad, I mentioned Tyler Stockton, the safeties coach, off to Michigan. What do you make of that move for him? And now Boise State, looking for a safeties coach. Last year, they kept the entire defensive staff. Didn't lose a single defensive coach. No changes to any titles. Nothing last year on defense. Now, and that was that back seven is losing Ty Benefield. It's losing Zion Washington at safety. You lose your starting corners as well, and McCoy and Irby. So there's going to be some change on the player side already, losing both your starting safeties. But now your safeties coach, your co-defensive coordinator, Tyler Stockton, moving on to Michigan. Your thoughts there?
It's he found an opportunity. I mean, having an opportunity to go to the University of Michigan, it's hard to turn down, especially he's back that way. And I think, he did a good job at Boise State. And, especially this past year, that secondary improved greatly. And so he found an opportunity to take off and go to the University of Michigan. It is what it is. Bye. Have fun. Good luck to you. But with Shenander, the experience that he has, everybody that he's coached with Spencer being a defensive guy, everybody he talks to, they'll have a very good safeties coach hired. And I would assume this is going to happen pretty quickly.
Do you think nowadays, in basketball, it used to happen a ton, Brad, where, hey, I'll get you, you can become a coach for us, but you got to bring X, Y, and Z players with you. You can see a lot of high school coaches get hired. You see, agent guys get hired as coaches, and the number 2 player in America just happens to be this guy's high school player, and he's now coming to Duke to play. Like, that happened all the time. Is there, in this day and age now, in transfer portal and how quickly players change and jobs change and all that, like, is there any kind of package deals that still happen where they say, hey, like he says, hey, like, if we'll hire you, but you got to guarantee us Ty Benefield too?
No, not. I mean, I know Ty went to LSU, and it'd be interesting to see for how much man they play and match and all that, to see how he adapts to that. But if he was to go to LSU, no, I don't think so. I don't think he gets the job because of Ty Benefield. I think he gets the job because he's got a track record. He's, like I said, the improvement of that secondary helps, and through conversations with Coach Whittingham at Michigan, in the interview process and all that, got the job. And then, because you don't know what Michigan needs, right? That's the thing with basketball, things come and go so quickly. And football, it's going to be that way. Don't get me wrong, but if you're flush at safety, you're flush at safety. I mean, we haven't had anybody leave. Nobody's going to leave. Our scholarship numbers match. You can't bring anybody. So that's just hard to say. You know, I don't know the numbers that Michigan's gotten to the portal. It hasn't been significant.
Mm-hmm.
But
did you like that hire, by the way, Kyle Whittingham to Michigan?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised some people, but he certainly seems like, from everything we've read, he does everything the right way, and they were looking for a coach that wasn't going to get any off-the-field trouble, so to speak. But they've had plenty of it there over the years with the scandals and all the other stuff going on with the sign stealing, and then what happened with the previous coach. I mean, it seems like all the boxes were checked, and that if he has something left in the tank, which it seems like he does, that was a great hire for Michigan.
Oh, I think it was. I mean, look at what he's done recruiting-wise, and track record at Utah. I mean, now give him a budget and a collective and everything else behind it. I would assume he's going to do pretty well. I mean, he's going to be judged if he can beat Ohio State or not, like everybody else in that school. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been fired because look at Cooper at Ohio State. He lost to Michigan, 4 times in a row? I mean, this is the same school. This is the same rivalry that Ryan Day, they wanted his butt fired last year after losing to Michigan, and he goes to win a national title. And Ohio State fans, I mean, most from Ohio, I know a lot of them, unfortunately. I'm not an Ohio State guy. But they would say, yeah, they won a national championship, but they lost to Michigan. I mean, it is wild.
Yeah.
And I think, when you Coach Whittingham, he's an unbelievable coach. And what he left in the tank is, I think as you're getting older coaches, can they relate to today's player? That's the end of the day. Can you relate to today's player? You cannot. And if you can't relate and you can't move on,
and the portal and NIL and agents and all that stuff, yeah,
right. If you can't do that, then it's not for you. And I see there's a balance of some guys won't do it, and some guys will be like, yeah, I can do it. I don't care. Pay me enough money, I'll do whatever you want me to do. It's just, I don't know. I think he's going to be phenomenal for Michigan. I think the staff, the Utah offense was unbelievable last year. You got the offensive coordinator to come over. So there's some interesting things that are going to go on in Michigan. Now, time will tell. Every new football coach, time will tell, right? Every position coach, time will tell. And you're judged off of what you did. Did you get the room better or did you not? Did you produce players to go on? Did you not? Can you recruit? Can you not? That's the way it is. But
go ahead.
I don't know.
What, not to put you on the spot here, but what's up with your boy Harsin? We haven't seen his name out there anymore. Is he looking for a job still, or going to take another year off, or what?
I don't know. I think, that the bowl game was a little rough, especially at the end. The safety just makes a play on the ball, it's picked. So that touchdown never happens. I don't know. I think he's going to just knowing coach, he sits back and evaluates where he's at, where his family's at.
What's up with his son? Is he still playing, or is he?
Yeah, Idaho State. He's
okay.
He'll compete to be the starter now. It all depends if that quarterback comes back. I know they're very happy with him. He did a great job when he played a little bit last year and won a game or two. And so, I think Coach Harsin's very deliberate in what he does. And I think that's what I've always loved about him. He's going to sit back, family, his girls, everything. Where's everybody at? At Davis, how you doing? And it's the one thing, that's the hardest thing as a coach, just watching other coaches go through it. Coach Root went through it, but Connor played at Boise State. So they had that special years with, son and dad and the same staff and the same team. And
should have got another year together.
Agreed. So the one thing that's tough is, as a coach, is like your son's playing college football and you can never see him play. And that's supposed to be the greatest 4 or 5 years of their lives, to play Division I football. And, dad can never see you play. So,
and Harsh certainly at this point in his career right now, at least, isn't hurting for a paycheck.
No. And I don't, I think with Harsh and, a lot of guys, it's not about the paycheck. How can you help young men get better, and how can you develop them, and how can you make them better people 10 years down the road? And I think that's one thing. And I'm not going to put anything in Coach Harsh's mouth, but it's like, that's where the disconnect is right now. There is no, their disconnect is, how are we going to graduate from University of whatever, and you're going to go on and be a great person, husband, yada, yada, yada. Now it's like, okay, cool. You're not going to pay me? I'm out of here. It's just, so there's a disconnect between the new realm of things and the old realm of things. And that's where it needs to change, in my opinion. And it's not going to change anytime soon. So it's just, he needs to reevaluate what he's going to want to do and where the game is going. You know, everything that you look, the game is going. Some people can't, I mean, every head coach that you see right now, Arizona State, Scott Frost at UCF, almost every basketball coach going on right now, they're like, college sports is broken and there is no track to fix it. And so that's where things, you know, I think Coach Saban, you know, I think it was a game day, said just reinvent the calendar. If you do the calendar right, things can get back to normal. So I think there's going to start, the more people are going to start talking about, okay, where are we going with this? How are we going to improve this? And I think the calendar is where it starts, and then you can move on from there.
Final thing, Brad, by the way, DB coach Julian here, who I know has got some Georgia ties and is tied to some of the recruits down there. Says the new receivers coach is a cool guy too, and says, give it up for my Georgia boys, Jericho Washington, Christian Moss. I think 2 transfers that may be looking at Boise State. So always appreciate Julian Colvard for being in the chat here and giving us some insight. Final thing for you, Brad, what do you –
Now, hold on. That is a connection right there, because if he's got Georgia ties, remember the new wide receivers coach is at Colorado State with Coach Bobo when he was the head coach in 2017, I believe. Right? So, you know, that's where, you know, if he's coached within Georgia ranks and knew that staff.
No, Coach Julian here has the Georgia ties.
Yeah, exactly. So he would know that the coach coming over.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? That's where he would know more, you know, personality wise and cool guy. So we'll see what happens, but you know, like I said, time will tell.
What's your when we get back on the show next Monday, what do you like in the next week here with all these visits and things? Is there a position that you know are hopeful to hear they've landed a guy or two at? Is there like, what's a week from now when we talk here, the Boise State football update? What would be a good week for Boise State, I guess? What's the position or two right now that you're saying they got to find a guy, or you know you're focused on here moving forward?
Well, I think you'd like to see a couple of guys they've already visited commit, right? So you got a couple wide receivers in the building, so you'd like to see get that one done. You know, I just paying attention. I'm assuming if it's true or not, but a couple of offensive linemen have been offered. The young man from Marshall was offered, who's a big body. I didn't see any film on him or anything like that, but
and then I think I saw Cal Poly or somebody lineman got offered.
Center, an interior guy, which, you know, a center is a position with Mason leaving and things like that, or his eligibility is over. He's not leaving, but
I know I should do this, Brad. I know I shouldn't because you tell me it doesn't matter. But whenever I look at a guy that they're looking at, I look at who else has offered them. And it's like, who else thinks this guy's good enough to play for them? And I know that's not how it should be, because you can find guys anywhere, and that means nothing. But that Delgatti, the Cal Poly guy, has offers from Oklahoma State, Wake Forest, Wazoo, and then you see there's some other schools in there, San Diego State, Oregon State, Fresno State. So I shouldn't do that. But, I mean, when I see he's got Power 4 offers, I'm like, okay, there's some Power 4 schools that think he's good enough to play for them. He's probably someone that's good enough to play for Boise State then.
I think I think with a portal, I think a couple of things. I think as a coach, I think you should pay attention to who's offered him, because now you know who you're going to compete with if you don't get that guy, because he can only go to one university. So if he goes to Oklahoma State, whatever. I mean, Oklahoma State, if you can run and have a heartbeat, you're probably going to get offered right now for how many or Iowa State, right? I think so. Let's say, okay, he goes to Oklahoma State. Well, the rest of those schools that offer, they still need an interior offensive lineman. So you know who you're going to start competing against. And I think, you know, we talked about this last week or week before, whatever, is that I think Boise State's going to do a really nice job finding those Division I AA FCS kids and doing a lot of homework and then pulling the trigger. Southern, Kansas State, Cal Poly, things like that. So I think when you're looking at that, I think they're doing a great job. It's just now everybody's offering everybody right now. And the issue, if you can see, if you really look at the visits, right? They come in on a Monday, you're leaving Tuesday. Okay. And then when they leave Tuesday,
they're going straight to Utah or somewhere else.
Correct. They're going to the next visit with an offer, and then they got to communicate because the school's got to fly them out of Boise to get to Stillwater or yada, yada, yada.
And they say, hey, we're only taking 2 portal wide receivers here. We got another guy visiting on Friday. Like, I mean, there's some pressure being put in. Time crunch here is at times at an essence for everybody.
Not some. There's a lot of pressure. I know there's a young man that left Auburn. His first visit was Texas A&M. I recruited him to Auburn. His next visit was Texas A&M. Texas A&M said, you cannot leave without committing. And if you do leave and do not commit, you no longer have an offer from Texas A&M. So it's either you take it now or you leave. And of course, he took it.
Our coach with the Georgia ties here, Coach Julian, says Christian Pritchett, Georgia Tech transfer, coming on a visit to Boise. And then he also says Shelton Lewis from Clemson in the portal, just spoke to his dad, cornerback with eye emojis. So maybe need to get Coach Julian on the payroll here at some point. He's helping funnel some guys to I know that the wide receiver, Terrius Favors, that everybody's excited about, the highest ranked player. He was a big reason that he came to Boise State, and that's the original connection there. So, right. Brad, appreciate you for jumping on. Hopefully we have some commits or some things to talk about next Monday. Appreciate you for doing this and for coming on late after we started with basketball a little bit, but always appreciate it. Anybody looking for those high school uniforms, you're getting ready for high school sports season, Brad's ready. Game 1, right, Brad? I don't know if Twitter or do you have an email address folks can reach out to you if they need some sports apparel or uniforms?
Twitter.
All right, reach out to Brad on Twitter. You'll be the first person to say something nice to him if you reach out and ask for it.
Hence, Twitter, at Brad Bedell. Most people know what it is.
Brad doesn't tweet too much, but I love just scrolling Twitter and seeing the occasional reply from Brad Bedell to somebody about something he didn't like, or
It's not occasional. I mean, or it is occasional, but if I'm replying to something, it's like, wow. You
pick your spot. You pick your spots, but when you see something you don't agree with, you're not afraid to snipe back.
Exactly, but it's got something I really disagree with. I mean, it's not like there's some things going around right now that are like ridiculous. But I don't know. Like yesterday, somebody said 1,000-yard rusher in the National Football League is like everybody should be 1,000-yard rusher. I'm like, okay.
Oh, cool. Yeah. By the way, I never saw the final drive. Did Genty get there?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
But Genty had a phenomenal year. Broke the rookie record for the Raiders for all-purpose yards, things like that.
And I saw Pete Carroll just got fired, somebody said.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me. But, I mean, it's like, okay, 1,000-yard rusher in the National Football League. When I was playing, I know things have changed, but if we had a 100-yard rusher that day, the offensive line coach paid for the offensive line dinner on Thursday. I mean, it's a big deal to have a 100-yard rusher in the National Football League. 1,000-yard rusher, I think this year is going to be 16 of them out of 32.
Wow.
I mean, it's hard to run the football in the National Football League.
No doubt.
So
no doubt.
See what happens.
Well, we appreciate you, Brad. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
You too. There he is, Brad Bedell. Always appreciate Brad for jumping on, giving us his thoughts on the portal and the different things going on there. In coaching news and things like that. But yeah, a lot of visits coming this week, and Chris Van Sickle all over it at BroncoNationNews.com. Final day. Today is the final day to get 50% off an annual subscription to BroncoNationNews.com. $5 a month. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Subscribe today. You would have known who the new wide receivers coach was last night. You would have known before anybody else that Matt Miller was leaving. And on the transfer portal, you're not going to get coverage anywhere close. And I mean, not even close to what you're getting from Chris Van Sickle. And I don't say that to brag, to gloat, whatever. It is 100% fact that Chris Van Sickle and Nathan and our team at BNN are all over the recruiting coverage right now. And you're not getting, I mean, Chris is tapped, with sources inside the building on who's visiting and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you're not going to find anything close to coverage elsewhere from recruiting. So if you want to follow this portal, follow who's coming to Boise State. If you want to follow all kinds of, news going on with Boise State and the portal and everything else going on, BroncoNationNews.com is where you need to go right now and subscribe. $5 a month. If you do the annual rate, it's a one-time fee of $60. That's $5 a month. And today's the last day before that offer goes away. So if you're on the fence, today is the day you need to do it. And it's BroncoNationNews.com. Click the Join VIP in the upper right-hand corner. And those VIP message boards is where you need to be living this time of year, because Chris is posting multiple updates a day. We're all posting info up there when we find out who's visiting, how the visits went, all that kind of stuff. Reach out. And again, BroncoNationNews.com. You can subscribe right now at BroncoNationNews.com. $5 a month, last day for that offer. So we'll see you online. Again, Cash Herrera. Chris talked to him. You want to hear from Cash Herrera, the new quarterback, his exclusive interview. No, he has not talked to anybody since committing, but you can get that story here this afternoon probably from Chris Van Sickle, BroncoNationNews.com. He talked to Cash Herrera. Lots of analysis on the basketball side, football side from Nathan, Prater columns, my work, all kinds of stuff, BroncoNationNews.com. So appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Again, if any news breaks, we'll have it first at BroncoNationNews.com. Those message boards are popping right now. Hang out there, get the discussion going. Keep this discussion from the ICCU YouTube chat going on the message boards at BNN. We have the free board if you're unable to subscribe, but if you're a paying subscriber, that's where most of our intel gets dropped in the VIP board. But a lot of options for everybody there, free and paid at BroncoNationNews.com. So appreciate you. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you online, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Bronco Nation News online, BroncoNationNews.com. Thanks, everybody.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you again.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
It's the all-wheel drive event at Lithia Ford of Boise. From hunting trips to ski trips to trips to Grandma's house. Nobody does AWD like LFB, Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Really, guys?
What? Jackson's always has his game ready.
Let's go!
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.